Right now, I'd like to invite you to stand on a feeling that feels like where you are right now.
We'll take the same feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. And a sentence or two about why you're standing where you're standing, popcorn style. Not everybody has to share. When you're warmed up. In psychodrama, we work with the warm-up. Share when it's up here and you're warmed up and you want to say it.
I'm feeling very, very cautious and just reluctant because this is such an unusual and different experience. Not sure how I feel. I'm kind of holding a lot of feelings in.
Thanks.
Well, I'm on the other, and I'm feeling similar to Stephen, but I'm feeling quite curious because I have no idea how this is going to transpire and what feelings it may kick up for me myself. So I'm just really curious.
I'm standing on complacency, which I'm feeling quite anxious about, actually. I consider complacency to be a real red flag for me. I don't want to be spending my life coasting, but I realise that I'm not warmed up in this group yet. But just by telling on myself, I realise that I feel a bit anxious about that. I'd like to be a bit more present.
What feeling do you have trouble feeling? What feeling do you like to kind of block or avoid feeling? What do you know? Who's warmed up?
Rage. Yeah, rage is definitely one. So I look around, it's the one that I don't. Well, I'm smiling often. That's what I do. That's actually when I feel rage, I smile. It's one of my mechanisms. I instantly go to something like as far away from I don't want anyone to think like I'm not rageful. But it's just difficult just saying it and sort of standing in it. And it seems to be connected to so many other things: sadness and resentment. It's like a swirling sort of a sensation, sad, and even joy, sadness, anger, resentment, joy. Rage is just like,
Thanks, Sam.
As I was standing here, I was realizing I just lost one of my coworkers, died suddenly, and that's very much present with me too. And I'm kind of annoyed that I'm here right now because I'm very much somebody who I'd rather feel rage than nothing, and I want to be able to identify my feelings and to articulate them. So, I want to avoid being numb, and I spent many years in this place, and it's very uncomfortable.
Well, I'm having a lot of trouble coming to terms with fear. My life has been run by fear. My decisions, really significant decisions like getting married, were run by fear. And I'm aware that I spend a lot of my time being vigilant about avoiding fear, which means avoiding a lot of the time other people's feelings. I'm spending a lot of my time being afraid of other people's rage, but of other people's sadness too. Any strong emotions from other people. I find I have to protect myself from, and it's just such a cage. This fear thing is such a cage that I know that I've self-medicated over big time.
Mill around and look at these feelings, and what feeling are you experiencing right now?
I'm standing on hopeful, and I stand here because the last part of the year was just so difficult. And I'm real excited to be jazzed and hopeful about, and very excited about being here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm very joyful today. Today's my sobriety day. Today I'm celebrating 26 years of sobriety.
I'm standing between anxious and hypervigilant, being in a new city and the unknown, and depending on the hotel and depending on the airlines and all that, I just get a little anxious and hypervigilant.
Nick, what feeling do you not like feeling so much? Now, as you notice, what we're doing is we're warming the group up, you're starting to get to know each other, and now we're moving you more towards the kind of feelings that get dissociated or pushed down through trauma. So what feeling do you not like feeling so much?
I'm standing on desperate, and that's, I think, a triggered place for me when I'm feeling stuck, and I don't like it.
So may I double for you? That's standing behind you and speaking an inner life. And you'd wear it or don't wear it. If you agree with it, just put it in your own words. If you disagree with it, ignore it. Say go away, do whatever you want to do. But when I feel desperate, when I get triggered and that desperate feeling happens, I feel
Powerless.
in the place I go in my mind.
Far back.
In the world, I start to see the world as.
A child.
And when I look at the world through my child eyes, I see.
Uncertainty.
Okay, so we're warming towards. Thank you.
I chose fearful. There's a lot that I might have chosen, but this is the one I spend most of my energy pushing away. It's the most powerful, uncomfortable one.
I'm Margot, and I'm standing on numb. And numb to me means unconscious, not in the moment, not knowing who I am, where I am, what I'm doing, with no purpose. And I'll do anything to not be there.
Another?
I'm standing on desperate, and I actually chose this in the last one as well. When I encounter somebody who comes across as desperate, to me it feels like weakness, and that's something I always run from personally, so I have a hard time dealing with that in other people.
And you chose it before, the question before was, what do I not like feeling myself?
Right.
So that's a classic transference trigger reaction, yeah?
Yes.
May I use it for education, please? That if I encounter somebody else's desperateness, the desperateness inside of me that I haven't come to terms with gets triggered and we're both gone, right? Okay, so next question. Now on this one, I'm going to ask people to share a little differently because everybody is what we call sociometrically aligned by feeling, right? In the group, each person becomes a therapeutic agent of the other. People who are sociometrically aligned, it's like 12-step programs. People who are like treating people who are alike.